follows the story of 4 Nigerian women. These people are rivals. That sounds very interesting. It's coming out on March 4th. And she's giving us a book after 10 years. I think she's a fantastic writer. Hello and welcome to With Love, Mojire. Today I'm going to talk about my most anticipated 2025 releases from authors I've enjoyed reading. I've read books by most of the authors on this list except one, but I will not only be talking about their new books, I'm talking about the books I've read before, the ones I'm maybe currently reading, and some of their books that have been released before 2025 that I have on my TBR. The first book on this list is called Beg, Borrow or Steal by Sarah Adams, and it was released on January 7. It's already out as of the time I'm recording this video. Beg, Borrow or Steal is the third book in the series called When in Rome, and it follows the story of 2 teachers living double lives. So they're teachers by day, romantic writers by night, and the main character is called Emily Walker. So these people are rivals, and Jack travels somewhere, comes back to Rome. And this is Rome, Kentucky, USA, not Rome, Italy. But he travels, he comes back, and then I guess their rivalry starts. That sounds very interesting. I know it might not seem like a lot, but when I read the synopsis, it sounded very interesting to me. And having read Sarah Adams, I think she's a fantastic writer. I read her debut novel last year called To Con a Gentleman, and I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to reading other books she's released in the past, The Rule Book and the When in Rome series. The next author on my list is one of my favorite people, and it's none other than Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and she's given us a book after 10 years. The name of this book is called Dream Count. It follows the story of 4 Nigerian women. Chiamaka, the main character, who is a travel writer living in America, and we have our best friend Zikora, a successful lawyer, also going through stuff, I guess. And then we have our cousin living in Nigeria, a financial powerhouse in Nigeria called Omolego, and Chiamaka's housekeeper. So the story is about the 4 of them. I'm not sure what exactly happens, but I guess that's why we have to read the book, and it's coming out on March 4. Speaking of Chimamanda's books, I've read most of her major books. I've read Purple Hibiscus, which was the first book of Chimamanda that I read at 13. I have also read Americana, which was my best book for like 10 years. I loved that book so much, I would carry it around and recommend it to everyone. I've also read some of her non-fiction, Yeah Ijeawele, We Should All Be Feminists, Notes on Grief, which was an essay she published in the New Yorker, and also one she wrote about NSAIDs in Nigeria, and I think it was published in New York Times. I've read her short stories, The Thing Around Your Neck, which is a short story collection, Olikoye, Zikora, Imitation, The Arrangers of Marriage. I would go like watch her interviews. One of my favorite talks she did is The Danger of a Single Story that she did a TED talk about. When it comes to Chimamanda's books on my TBR, I guess the only book on my TBR is Finishing Half of a Yellowstone, which I started reading, but I lost my copy while reading it. I've seen the movie a couple of times on Netflix, but I still want to read the book. The next author on this list, I have not read any book by them. Her name is called Abby Jimenez. The book she's releasing is Say You Remember Me, that is coming out on April 1. The synopsis of Say You Remember Me is the story of Samantha, who goes on a date with Handsome, and then she has a good time, but then she begs him to forget her because she has some family stuff going on. I haven't read any book by Abby Jimenez. I have a couple of books on my TBR. I've read a lot about Abby Jimenez, and just watching a lot of reviews from other booktubers, she has the elements of fiction that I love. I love when a writer can balance emotional depth with a believable romantic story. Abby Jimenez promises to deliver that. Books on my TBR, the ones I'm most like eager to read, Yours Truly, Part of You, and Just for Summer. The next author on this list is the queen of summer romance, and that is Emily Henry. So in my last video, I talked a little about her, and since my last video, I've read a couple of her books. But let's talk about the book she's releasing on April 22. And it's called Great, Big, and Beautiful Life. And the plot is so like, I'm trying to figure it out. It's about 2 writers, Alice and Hayden. So Alice is our protagonist. She's an up-and-coming writer. Hayden is a Pulitzer-winning writer, and then they are in a competition to write a life story of a mysterious person on a mysterious island or something like that. Like, the plot is crazy, and obviously they're all in this island, and obviously I'm guessing they fall in love. So I'm really looking forward to reading that. Speaking about Emily Henry books I read Funny Story last year, which I liked, but then I just finished reading Happy Place, which is, I would say, one of my favorite books currently. Like, I loved it so much. I wrote an entire Substack about it. Speaking of Substack, if you have not subscribed to my Substack, what are you doing? I'm just kidding, but please subscribe to my Substack, especially if you love reading. I write all kinds of stuff there, so please be sure to subscribe. I'm currently reading People Will Meet on Vacation. I like it, not as much as Happy Place, but I like it, and I'm really getting into Emily Henry's writing. She's a fantastic writer, as I've said before. Yeah, so I look forward to reading her book. The next book is by the Queen of Rom-Com, Catherine Center, and it's called The Love Haters. It's coming out this summer on May 20, and I can't wait to read the book. The Love Haters is about Kathy, a video producer who is at crossroads or has to make a career-changing decision of either quitting her job or taking a life-changing gig profiling her boss's brother, who I'm guessing she falls in love with. But the thing now is that she lies that she can swim, and swimming is a requirement for taking this gig, and she gets caught up in all of that. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've read Catherine Center's Hello Stranger. That's the only book by Catherine Center I have read so far, but I really loved it, and I'm looking forward to reading more books by her. So on my TBR for Catherine Center is the rom-comers, which people either hate or love. So I'm really curious. I believe I would love it, but I'm really curious to read it. I'm really eager to read it. Second book on my TBR is called Happiness for Beginners, which I heard is more emotional. Like, it's not as funny, or probably is as funny, but definitely more emotional than her other books. And The Bodyguard, recommended by Emily Henry herself. So I look forward to reading all these books. Let me know what you're reading in the chat, and until next time, bye.